welcome back. Another episode with me and Candace. And today we have a special guest. I'll let Candace introduce her.
Yes. Y'all, listen, we have a fellow 757er. Okay. Miss Kiah Lawrence has joined us today, and we're going to talk about her podcast that she has with her husband that she hosts called Married and Unfiltered. We're going to get into that. She's going to give a little background about herself. But first, Kiah, we got to start out with a few icebreaker questions, okay? All right, so you ready? The first one. Let me know. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Any superpower.
Dang. I feel like I've done this before too, but I'm going to say like the fast speed jump where you be going like fast speed jump. Like super speed. That's what I'm looking for. Because I feel like time gets away so quickly now as you get older as an adult. And it's like, I need just one more minute, a couple more hours to knock some stuff out. And I think with that, I'll be able to move through the day and have extra free time.
That's like, that makes me think of when people say stuff like, you and Beyonce got the same 24 hours. Remember that? You and Beyonce. Like,
okay, but she had people helping her, okay?
We don't have the same 24 hours. She on something else.
She got that special 24 hours. We don't.
Exactly. All right, so sticking with the whole superpower thing, this is my question. Matter of fact, I got to make sure my husband hear this because I'm hoping you go my way. But who is the best Avenger?
Oh my gosh, I wish I. So my husband is so into this too, and I literally just started getting into it like when we met. So, man, I don't know. This is hard. I'm thinking.
There is only one right answer.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, I mean, with, I don't know. Is Avenger, I'm trying to think who on the Avenger team. Is Black Panther on the Avenger team?
Yeah, he part of that crew.
Candace, why you say it like that?
Because that's not my answer.
That ain't. Let me try it again. We got Captain America? Maybe. Oh no, I know. Aquaman. But the fact that I know some of them, y'all got to give me a little bit of.
Go ahead, Candace. Give your answer.
My answer is Iron Man.
I don't like Iron Man.
Oh man, I didn't know you was going to be on my. Okay,
listen,
let me tell you.
I represent Black Panther. I represent my Black Panther, but Iron Man.
Every time they need somebody to save the Avengers, it's always Iron Man who gotta come through. Either his brain or his fight. Iron Man is that dude.
He's a little cocky and stuff, but listen, he's
smart.
He know what he's doing. Okay.
It said his superpowers for being rich, just like Batman. Like I ain't feeling it.
But he's better than Batman, though, because he actually got the brains to go behind it. See, Batman is just rich, and he got other people to do the stuff for him.
Somebody with some muscles saving the day. You know, they've been working out. They got raw talent.
Thor.
Yes, with the hammer. Yes. Now I'm about Thor and Aquaman. Now those are my two Avengers. That's it.
I don't even think I'm saying this part of the other group.
Off of their looks.
I mean,
because the best looking superhero is definitely Aquaman.
Yeah. But I mean,
he's the best looking superhero.
They too fine to not talk about it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a few more for you. All right. So let me ask this first, because you may be too young for this. Growing up, did you listen? Did you listen to your parents' music?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, Michael Jackson or Prince?
So, I'm going to have to say Michael Jackson because I really didn't know who Prince was until I got a bit older or even understood. You hear it, but I didn't really understand Prince until I got older. So, I grew up. I would say more on Michael Jackson because he was more in that era. Like, I knew the albums and music and things that came out. Prince was a lot before my time.
Yeah, Michael kind of is just, even though like Prince has timeless classics, Michael
it's
a difference.
generational.
I can't
I feel like
explain
it follows
it.
generational.
Yeah. All right. So going to the movies. Coming to America or Harlem Nights?
Oh Lord, you really making me show my little bit of age now. So I've literally seen Harlem Nights one time. So I would have to say Coming to America.
Okay. That's one I'm like, you know.
I
it's
remember bits and pieces.
They're both very good, but probably Harlem Nights.
Because all the comedians up in there. Yeah. Shoot, I was just watching Life the other day, and I was like, dang, I always forget how funny Life is, but yeah. All right, last one. What are you currently like? What's your show currently? Like, what are you binge watching? What is Kiah Lawrence watching? What does she love to watch when she gets the time to watch
when
TV?
I get the time to watch TV. So, can I say what I'm waiting for something to come on right now?
Sure.
Is it you with the crazy?
Oh my God! Yes.
What's his name? Joe. I'm ready to see Joe in action in his crazy life on Netflix. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay.
So I feel like the time these past few months have been insane. So I haven't really stuck with anything. I've been watching basically things that I can fall asleep to. So I'll watch Don't Judge Me, Trolls. They got one on Hulu and they got one on Netflix. And I think I love Poppy because she's so positive, and I want to go to sleep to that so I can have positive dreams and wake up to positiveness. And just like cartoons, like I watch Grownish, but that's just very stuff that I don't have to invest time into.
Right. I get that. And plus, I don't know. I was funny too when I was pregnant about certain things I watched at night and all that.
My dreams be off the chain, and I'm like, I never can remember my dreams, but now I can give you a whole different story about what's going on. So I don't know about that. I need them to be positive. I don't need no zombies, no vampires, no nothing coming after.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so that's all I got for you in terms of the little icebreaker questions. But I do want to get into now your podcast that you share with your husband. But before we actually get into the podcast part, I wanted you to give us a little background about yourself and how you guys met. And I want to also know if you're the typical military spouse who said she would never marry a military man, because we are part of that club. So I just want to know if you're part of that club too.
So that's a lot of those 3 questions. There's a lot of questions going on. So I would think I'm gonna start with the I would never marry a military man piece. So I was actually raised also, I think like you both, with a military father. So I grew up also in the military. So I knew when I turned 23, I'm gonna marry me a military. I'm gonna graduate college, marry me my military man, get my benefits, and live my whole best life.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I just want to put that in there. Disclaimer. That was not me.
I thought you had a military father too, or parent too. Okay, my bad. But that was my mindset. I grew up. Virginia was mostly military area, so that's what you saw success be. I hate to say, basically, that's what I saw success be. So I just knew I was going to marry me a military man. That ain't happened. But he just happened to, come around. I was 25, 26 when I met him. And I was already established. I had my own thing going. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really need him like that now. I got my own thing. I got a new definition of what success is at this point. So it's just, I guess, a little bit different. But I would say I was on the other side that I wanted one, but it didn't quite work out. And it happened much later than I anticipated. So I guess in total fruition, it was what I expected. But that's, I guess, how about the military piece. How we met was good old millennial meeting. So it was a right swipe on Tinder, which is absolutely insane to me because I've never done online dating. He was literally like the second person I went on a date with because I felt like people were just kind of creepy and, this is not normal and stuff like that. So we met online and it just worked out. And that was like the only person dealt with online after him being the second person. So I guess that's like my relationship, the military background, but then the most important part about me. So like you said, I'm from Virginia. I guess just like the background piece, I went to school at Virginia Commonwealth University right after school, which is in Richmond. And then I basically work in consumer goods, which is like a manufacturing industry background. So I've had a few jobs working for companies like SuperValue, Kellogg, and now I work for Kimberly-Clark. And basically my goal, I guess I feel like I'm just finding out now what it is that I want to do. And I feel like I'm just finding out what I want to do when I grow up, kind of. And it's like, you don't see a lot of people like yourself that look like yourself in these industries. And I want to be able to bring that to the industry. And people aren't as authentic as they say. I feel like when you get in certain levels, certain roles, people kind of forget about who they are and forget about how hard they had to work to get there. And I don't want to forget about that. I want to make sure that the next person coming up can get that support and mentorship from me, and they don't have to struggle or try to find someone or feel constantly left out to get there. So that, I know it's very career driven. I've always had that career piece, but that's like this big focus and all the work, I guess, I put behind it from external work and internally.
That's awesome. And so how long you and your husband been married? 4
years in October. 4 years in October. I'm confident in that. Yes.
So let us know, how did you guys come up with the idea of starting this podcast?
So it's kind of funny because this is not the first time it's been brought up. Like over years, people have said, "You guys are so funny. Y'all need to do something in the podcast." And I'm like, that's not me. I don't want people to know my personal life. I don't feel comfortable, exposing what's going on. But Ramon was very persistent, and I mean, I'm all about planning. I'm all about setting up. It's a plan of action, execution, and he did it. And I'm like, all right, I can't argue with it because you followed through. You did what you needed to do to get there. So he kind of does all the hard work, and I just show up. That's what I say. So
that's me.
I just show up. He does all the editing. We come up with the ideas or the conversations, the topics together. But overall, he manages that piece. I'm going to try to start learning a little bit because once I have this baby, I'll have a little bit more time than he does. So we'll see how that all goes.
Okay, so like, what are y'all hoping to accomplish through the podcast? Or like, you can kind of give me a background of like the purpose for the podcast.
So my thoughts of Married and Unfiltered is, in society, people tell you being married, you're supposed to be a certain way. I am no expert. We are no experts or no counselors or anything like that. But I do think marriage has changed from when my parents were married, when my grandparents were married, to today. And society tells you a woman's supposed to do this, or you're supposed to do this and that for your husband, or two married people shouldn't be having a good time partying out, or just I feel like a lot of fictitious information. And we are just in a different generation. We should be able to do what we want to do unapologetically at the end of the day without having outside noise or worrying about what other people say. So with Married and Unfiltered, our goal is to provide a different perspective of what a marriage looks like. We've only been married for 4 years. Have we had any crazy trials and tribulations? Things here and there. But I mean, I just want to show the world or people out there that it doesn't have to be what society tells you. And you can always look over and beyond that and do what works for you, because what works for you doesn't necessarily work for the next person and vice versa.
Exactly.
Right. I would say exactly, because in fact, me and Mary were just having a conversation about this not too long ago in another interview, where I was talking about how one of the things that me and my husband had to learn was, like, obviously we grew up in two different households, right? And both of our parents were married. And so we have our idea of what marriage is supposed to look like based upon our experiences through witnessing our parents' marriage, the good and the bad, so you take that initially and you try to bring that into your marriage of, this is how it's supposed to be. This is, because of what you saw. And then you get in the process of learning who y'all are, together. And then it kind of works itself out where you realize, hey, this is what works for us. This is who we're going to be. And it doesn't have to mirror what our parents were, or we don't have to be worried about what our parents went through if that's not who we are, like in terms of the bad that may be within another marriage or something like that. So I completely understand what you're saying about just getting used to that idea of, hey, it's not one way to do this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not the same. So I think that's wonderful that y'all are doing that. I was actually recently listening to one of your recent episodes, And for anybody who hasn't checked them out, you guys need to check them out. They're so cute and they're so open, which that's honestly pretty amazing because I think at times that could be hard to expose yourself like that, especially when it's something like your, you know what I'm saying, like your marriage. But I think it was actually the game that y'all played, that was called Skin Deep or something like that. The couples, like I thought that was pretty cool with y'all, you know, asking each other questions and like I said, and doing that in front of everybody. And I think it brings a lot of authenticity to your podcast and basically what you got, you know, your purpose that you're pushing with the podcast. So I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like add on to that piece. You always hear a lot of outside noise where people talk about what your marriage is supposed to be and how things, you know, if it doesn't look right to them, it's not right. So I just think that's just what we're trying to do with the podcast. And to your point, just being authentic and open and seeing that everything's not perfect. I don't love everything he does and he doesn't love everything I do. So it's okay. And I would say it's pretty normal. Again, not a counselor, not a psychiatrist or anything, but it's normal and people deal with it and you find different solutions for your marriage, for yourself.
Yeah, I think you guys' concept for y'all podcast is excellent because I feel like a lot of people in our generation, they have these marriage goals or trying to live up to the expectations of their parents' marriages or their grandparent marriages when, like you said before, we in a different generation. Society has changed a lot and a woman don't have to stay home and cook and clean and take care of the kids. She can work. She can be independent as well. So just okay. But I like that concept of y'all podcast. So that's great work, and just you guys just putting it out there and being real with everybody because again, going on social media and stuff, people will post what they want y'all to think and see, like, oh, they just living their life, but when they back at home by themselves, they having so many issues and you wouldn't know about it. But just being real and authentic, like, hey, some days he get on my nerves. I can't stand him. I can go a whole week without talking to him. I'm going to give him the silent treatment. But at the end of the day, you know, we all human and we all go through these issues, but it's about coming together as one and, you know, being on the forefront. So, yes, I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
So where are you guys? Because I know you have a YouTube page, but I don't know if you wanted to let everybody know where they can kind of reach out to, or reach out to listen to you guys, and also watch on your YouTube page and stuff like that. I'm
going to try to do this. I if you ever watch the very end of the video, I really suck at it, but I'm going to do my best. So you can like, subscribe, and comment on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Married and Unfiltered. It's all spelled the same. So we're interested to have more viewers and getting more comments and more feedback from folks. We even got our first negative comment, which was like a little nerve-wracking.
What was that? Yes. Oh, tease.
Don't make me pull it up. Don't make me pull it up now. But basically, it was actually on the one you talked about, the Skin Deep, where she basically said that a lot of the questions were around me answering. It was around Ramon's son. As I've said, I've been open about this, that's probably one of the most difficult parts in our marriage is that Ramon has a child outside of our marriage. But prior to me, not like during.
Yeah, I want to say that because the way you just worded it, you got to say it again. But I was just about to stop you and say, wait, y'all.
Prior to us even being together, but that part is always difficult because, and on top of that, it's not like his son is here; he lives in another state. So, and Ramon's in the military, so you guys know that background and how that all works. But basically, the comment is around me never accepting his son, and that we will, and that we, almost like we're kind of pitiful, and that Ramon is not doing a good job as being a father because he puts me before his child, and it was just a lot of. I'm like, oh wow, my feelings was hurt.
Listen,
but I had to step back, and you got trolls, you got people who have their own opinion. I mean, you just being authentically yourself. I mean, you can. I think this goes back to the whole topic of Married and Unfiltered. You can't let what other people's outside thoughts come into your marriage, because if it does, it's going to mess up your marriage in general. Yeah. So if I was so worried about what she thought, what she had to say, or what anyone had to say, that could ruin my marriage in the long term, because I'm so worried about, he doesn't take care of his son, or he, just what other outside thought, he's not trying hard enough. But I know what's going on because I'm here every day.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. You know firsthand what's going on. So let that negativity just stay where it is, because people are so quick to get behind a keyboard and talk, state their opinions. But at the end of the day, it don't even matter. It don't.
Exactly.
And I know that's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, I had my little moment, but we had some good support teams. His sister was like, she done went on the girl, made me feel a little better. My neighbor had my back. I'm like, okay, I feel good. I ain't crazy now.
Tag team.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy now. I'm good.
But that's like you said, just obviously, like I said, with y'all exposing so much information and being open, it's interesting because obviously the deeper you get, the more you open yourself up to possibly, I guess, getting wounded, I guess you could say. I don't know what the right phrase is, but so, it's good that you guys are still able to, push through and deliver your message and stuff. But so far for you, has there been any, I guess, huge difference, from your perspective of marriage from the time, you were just dating and maybe just, we're thinking about marriage versus you actually you guys being married now? Like, is there anything that you would like point to, like, yeah, I didn't know this was going to happen, or I didn't know it was going to be like this, or, oh, I was surprised that this turned out this way?
So I will say, I feel like we got married a lot later than most people do. So I was 27 and Ramon was like maybe 30, 33. So I feel like we had that time to learn who we are and learn ourselves a bit more and understand where we went. So I came in like, this is me, this is who I am, and we're going to accept it. And he came in, this is him, this is who he is, and we're going to accept it. And we're not forcing ourselves to adjust to one another. Just from a kind of experience, I would even say my own parents, you kind of see, they got married like real young when my dad was first in the military. So you kind of adjust to my crazy father ways. Candace met my crazy daddy. So, you kind of adjust to the ways. No, but you just kind of adjust the ways easily. But this goes back to we're just in a different society or a different generation. And we kind of understand what it is that we want. And we can talk about it. We can talk about the things we don't like. We can communicate about the issues. But we are always going to be ourselves first. So I would say the foundation coming into the marriage, I would definitely say was strong because we knew what we wanted before. So it wasn't me trying to find myself. I feel like you change every year, every day, whatever you do. But I wasn't in this lost puppy phase. I don't feel like before I met Ramon, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know how to make me happy. I was constantly trying to make somebody else happy. Because before I met Ramon, I was in a 6-year relationship from 19 to like 24, 23. So like I was constantly trying to make this person appease this person. And I didn't want to, I obviously didn't want to do that again. So I knew what I wanted. So I would also say like going into the marriage as well, I think living together was a thing for me. We're used to having our space. Because him being in the military, we got married. He was away for 2 years. And then we get into this, we buy a house, not just get into a house, we buy a house together. And it's like, whoa, I see you every day. Like, every day. And then COVID, So that was kind of new. And like I said, we haven't been married that long. So it'll be 4 years in October. And 2 of those 4 years, we're not even together. So he was in Germany. So I think we're constantly adjusting all the time, but the foundation of knowing who we are, I think, helps build the marriage itself. So we're changing every day, and I'm sure once this little baby comes, it's going to be a whole new whirlwind of things to accomplish and get over.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be so cute. Yeah. Matter of fact, you got to tell me your plate again, because I remember we were out eating. You said it was like 3 things that you said you want to have as soon as you drop her, as in deliver her, y'all. But you said tiramisu. What it was 2 more.
Casamigos tequila, a shot of Casamigos tequila,
okay,
and eggs Benedict. Okay.
Okay.
That's all the stuff
What
you
a
can't have.
combination.
So I'm ready for
I was
it.
like, you may have a stomach ache afterward, but
Together, you want that all at once?
No. I want a breakfast, a happy hour shot, and then dinner dessert.
Okay, I got you.
gotcha. We're gonna have to work that in. I was going to say, is there anything else you would like to leave our listeners about your podcast, or anything y'all have coming up that you would like to leave and let us know about anything?
Man, I wish I was way more prepared with that part. But well, we did change the podcast, and now every 2 weeks, because once a week was a little bit tough. But I would say tune in. I feel like the next episode that is going to air is going to be a good one, because it should be around basically who we were before we met. We said turn a hoe into a housewife and turn a husband into a housewife. So kind of not, it's a bit explicit, but the idea of you can be who you were before and you can still be a married person. I feel like people act like women can't live their whole best life, just like these men be out here living their best life and get married. You act like you got this dirt on you and stuff, and they ain't no good. But we still like fine wine. We still fine china right here. Okay. And men do their dirt, and men, do their thing. So I would tune into that, because that's a pretty good perspective and a good conversation.
Awesome. Oh, one question that I completely forgot to ask you was, I know you said, because basically you had your career before you guys got married. So has there been any adjustment since getting married, in terms of like from his military lifestyle per se, that has affected your marriage in any kind of way, good or bad?
Yeah, so absolutely. That's part of the reason why I didn't go to Germany, was because we knew if I went to Germany, that would have put my career at a plateau. I was kind of at that peak area where you're getting, you're finally getting the network of people, and you are past that entry level position, and, building those skills. And I knew if I went to Germany, I wouldn't be able to do any of that, because they didn't have the type of work I do in that area. So we made the decision for me to stay here so I could continue to pursue my career.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And so coming back now, we were blessed, and he actually got stationed here in Florida. But now I'm unable to move or relocate until he retires, which is only 4 years from now. But that is now a little bit of a struggle, where I want to grow, but you can't grow unless you move, because my corporate office is not in this area. I kind of do a field role or out sales role. So I've been advocating for myself on, I'm doing this, and this. So if my future plans is to remain with this company, I should be able to do X, Y, and Z role remotely without there being an issue. I have proven that over the past 5 years, and it shouldn't be a problem. So that part's really tough, because I'm obviously supporting him, and we knew this was the plan, but it's frustrating that companies don't see it that way at times. And I feel like that's when they lose a lot of retention for folks, because I can't just get up and go whenever you want me to. I think it's this man mentality that men would stay home, and men would travel, and they would, just uproot their whole family because this woman didn't work, or didn't have, I guess, the prime income holder. But now with women being that, they think it can work the same way. I mean, if a woman has a child, sometimes that can unfortunately hold you back, because you're like, oh, I don't want the baby yet to go to a new school, or I don't want to move while I'm having a baby, or whatever the case may be. I think a lot of that needs to be taken into consideration. So those are some of the type of things internally that I talk about and kind of advocate for on a small scale, and make my voice heard. But if you don't make your voice heard a little bit, sometimes it will get overlooked. So me being pregnant, I make sure within the company at a good time, I wanted that it's okay to tell people that you're pregnant. It's not like this thing I should be ashamed of, or something I have to hide from anybody. Because a man, if it was on the other side and the man's wife is having a child, there wouldn't be an issue. And also the whole being black thing too. Let's just keep it real, because white people can do something totally different than we can, unfortunately. So I want to be able to kind of make it okay and be a normal that, yes, Kia's pregnant. Yes, she'll be going on maternity leave, but I can still do my job and excel at doing my job.
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic we can dive into, because that one right there, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. I don't understand why especially for us, like Black women, why do we feel the need that we have to hide our pregnancy? Because it's almost like we're almost contemplating like, okay, well, if we tell them we're pregnant, like, if you don't have a job, will they still hire us? Or the potential of not being able to keep your job, and it shouldn't be like that.
No lie, y'all. I seriously remember when Irv was stationed out in Colorado when I was pregnant with my daughter, my firstborn. I remember trying to find an outfit where I could literally hide my belly during the interview, because I was like, I don't want that to be the topic of discussion. And them kind of like, well, when are you expecting to have this baby? Because we need somebody that's going to be here for the next couple of months. And if you look at the dip out on us in a few months, I didn't even want to deal with that. So I was just trying to find things that was going to, where I could go in there and kind of like play it off. And then once I got the job, just be like, so by the way, y'all, but yeah, it's horrible. But I'm like, I just almost felt like if I would have just walked in there just showing it really would have been like ain't no point even doing this interview, ma'am. You might as well turn around and go on outside.
We shouldn't feel like that, because I've seen white women come from other companies and they'll be like 6 months pregnant. And I mean, I don't know the background, the details, but I'm confident in my heart they're not going to come from no company and not get no maternity leave or nothing. Coming from their stability to a new company with no maternity leave. So they do it with ease. And I'm like, why do we have to continue to hide that? So I guess I'm working through it because I have no clue what to do. But all during this process, and I know I can't move and all that stuff for work, I'm still like, well, you know what that sounds like? That seemed like I need to go somewhere else where somebody wants to have me. So was I still looking while I was pregnant? Yes. Were there some people who contacted me? Yes. I mean, is there some possible things out there that could happen? Yes. And I kind of been reading up on what you should do while you're pregnant and explaining how you should interview. So there's a lot of the stuff is saying you should be upfront. At the end of the day, it's illegal as hell for them not to hire you. Right.
They'll have an excuse.
I be doing I got all the diversity pieces. I'm like, I'm pregnant, I'm Black, I'm young. I said, y'all go ahead and try it with me if you want to. I got it all. So if y'all think that y'all ain't hiring me, you ain't hiring me because I'm a woman and I'm pregnant.
Okay. It's 2021, baby. Okay.
Y'all can't do that. Exactly. You can't do that. So it's a difficult piece to navigate. And I would say, especially in corporate America, we just don't have a lot of people who look like us or even the guidance or mentorship to help us get to, that point. So like I said in the beginning, kind of about myself, that's something that is really near and dear to my heart. And even if like I won the lottery tomorrow, I still would somehow want to be able to help Black women specifically grow within corporate America, because there's so many opportunities. I tell people what I do, they're like, what, how you do that, girl? I mean, I just stumbled upon it, but it's I don't want to say it's easy, but anybody can do it. And it's a good career to have, but we don't know about it because they're not out there for us, looking for us. So I want to be the person in the room. Y'all ever seen Hamilton? The play?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, don't have me start singing now. Never mind. All right. Never mind. Basically, it's a song they say they want to be in a room where it happens. And I said, basically, in a decision room where people make the decision of who's going to be in certain roles and who's going to take on leaderships and career development and so on and so forth. So I'm like, I want to be in a room where it happens at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's good. Well, I mean, with that, first of all, we definitely want to thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time. We appreciate, everything you've, all the knowledge you brought today. And guys, definitely check out their podcast, Married and Unfiltered.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed. Before we close out, we always like to say our little affirmation. So we're going to get into that real quick. I am enough.
I have the power to create the life I desire.
I am worthy of my dreams.
I am worthy of my dreams.
Yes. So thank you again, Kiah, for coming on. You got to come back on because, girl, you just almost turned this into a whole different type of episode towards the end.
Don't holler at me now. I got time. I'm going to have time. So really holler at me. All right, then. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we appreciate it.
No problem.
And remember,
go ahead, Mary.
I was about to. Dang. And remember, Shine, sis, you got this.
You got this, girl.